Hi, this is Z. I've decided to make these audios to share personal thoughts and knowledge about awareness and the process of awareness. This knowledge has come to me through research, personal experience, and working with people on their awareness journey. To define awareness is not an easy thing because it is subjective in nature. How can I define something that is very personal? But awareness is a form of waking up from a slumber that has overtook a person, where they don't feel alive anymore, where they do things in a robotic way. They feel limited, chained, unable to express themselves and who they are. It's like being drowned without being in the water. It's a very odd feeling to be asleep, but awake at the same time. When you become aware, things seem different. You see things you have not even seen before. They were right in front of you the whole time. This is why it's not very easy to define it. Some people may scoff at the idea that, well, that's not a real definition. But to define in very specific terms is to limit the experience itself. When you become aware, there's a shift in perspective about yourself, about others, about the world, about even concepts like consciousness, love, freedom. When you have a change in perspective, you don't see the world or view it the same way you did before. And because of that, your own thoughts have changed, and this affects your emotions and behaviors. Awareness usually starts with redefining our beliefs about ourselves, and this in return will affect our emotions and behaviors. For example, a person may think themselves as not very sociable, and this person may go to a party and then stand in the corner thinking, well, nobody wants to talk to me because I'm not really sociable. And when then someone comes along to talk to them, that belief even affects their ability to express themselves. And the other person is not really aware that this person has this belief, so they might go away. And then this reinforces that person's belief that, yes, I am not sociable. But really, the belief itself is what affected that person, rather than what others saw him. If this person redefined his belief that he is actually sociable, and then when a person comes along and he expresses a thought, and that other person expresses back a thought, a communication happens. So by changing one's belief about oneself, in effect, this person's anxiety about talking to others has lessened. And this goes to many other beliefs. To change a belief, one has to go back to the origin of the belief. Where did this thought come from? Usually it comes from an experience one had in the past, whether this person was brought up upon this belief by his parents or caregivers, or this person had a certain experience that has led him or her to believe that this is how the world works, or this is how they view themselves. For example, the parents of a child might divorce, and the child was not able to see her father for a very long time. The father went away and lived with another family and didn't contact the child anymore. This child might think, well, she wants to make sense of this experience. She might think, well, maybe it's my fault that my father went away. It must be. What else would my father go away? And this, in turn, this thought about oneself leads to other thoughts like, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I am not lovable. Maybe I drove my father away. And this child grows up thinking there's something wrong with her. She might internally search on for what is wrong with her. This leads to negative emotions about herself. And this also leads to negative behavior about herself. She may constantly want to fix herself. She might constantly want things to be perfect, because if they're perfect, then everything will be okay. And if they're not perfect, then things are not good. And she wants to be a good person. She wants to do things in order for others to love her. Because if she doesn't do these things, then people will leave her. And this leads to the fear of abandonment. And this person might become clingy as an adult, or might become avoidant and not really come close to people, thinking, well, if I'm close to people, then they will find out that I'm actually not very lovable or good, and they will leave. So in order to change that belief, this person has to go back to that specific memory of the experience. That memory contains the emotional link that she has towards herself. And if she breaks that link, that no, this belief about myself is not true. My father did not leave because of me. My father left for other reasons. And when this person realizes that yes, my father did not leave because of myself, this belief changes. And that's the tricky part, really. For every belief we have, whether about ourselves, others, and the world, we need to find that specific link, that memory that usually has an emotional content. We need to find a specific memory that's connected to a strong emotion, and in turn connected to a behavior. Because whenever we have a new experience and our mind is reminded that this new experience is similar to a past experience, the original experience, then this emotion is triggered. And this emotion, when triggered, triggers a certain set of behaviors. The mind does not forget. And this part of the mind is called the subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, we find beliefs, which I would like to call programs, because they're not only beliefs, really, because they're connected to an emotion and connected to a set of behaviors. It's like a program you have on a computer. Whenever something happens in the outside world and the conscious mind takes it in, the subconscious mind recognizes that it's very similar to the previous experience, and then it triggers the program. And because the subconscious mind is actually automatic by nature, we do not realize that this is what is happening to us unless we actually reflect upon what is going on, unless we actually try to understand what is going on. The subconscious mind also contains things that the conscious mind does not wish to deal with, like very traumatic memories or sad memories or things that have upset us to the degree that we wanted to shield ourselves from it. And the reason the conscious mind does this, especially the ego, is to protect the self. Because if the person is constantly reminded of a traumatic experience, they might not be able to function anymore. But unfortunately, this memory does not go away unless addressed. If it is repressed, it goes back to the subconscious mind and it remains there. And it gets triggered by whatever it sees it as similar experience to the previous one. Sometimes we even repress good qualities about ourselves in the subconscious mind. And the reason we do that might be we were criticized about that quality and we thought this is not a good quality. But because it is part of who we are, it does not go away. It gets repressed and affects us in return whenever something that reminds the subconscious mind of it, and it comes back out again. And then sometimes we might be surprised why we're doing this behavior. We are not this person anymore. But really, you are. You're just repressed it. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychologist, calls these repressed memories and repressed beliefs or traits shadows. And if we do not deal with these shadows, they affect us for the rest of our lives. He believed that there should be an open link between the conscious mind and subconscious mind. The person is very much aware of what is happening in the subconscious mind and the programs that are present there, so that they are not just automatic, where we do not know what's going on with ourselves, that we are unaware of who we are and why we act or feel in a certain way. When there is clear communication between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, then we are able to unify both hemispheres of the brain. The left hemisphere has to do with logic, the ego, and analysis, while the right hemisphere is more creative and intuitive by nature. Unified, we're able to see the world and universe more clearly. And in many spiritual circles, when the brain is able to connect to the heart, it's believed that the heart is able to connect to everything in the universe. This is in general is the process of awareness, and the process of awareness can come in any method that you choose. For example, you may follow a certain Eastern religion, or even practice Kung Fu, or you may find it through science, or philosophy, or psychology. Doesn't matter. You may become a Sufi. These are all methods that lead to the same process that I've described before. And I've researched this over and over again. And even though there's many different words and many different techniques, it doesn't matter. At the heart of the issue, you need to focus on unifying your brain to the heart and dealing with the shadows and your fears and your repressed memories and traits. There are many other things to say about awareness, but this is a general review, and other concepts will be addressed in other videos. And I hope that whatever I discussed was clear for you. And if you have any question, please comment, and I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. Thank you for listening.